Against all odds, Allie. I mean, goodness, from being in college, thinking that you're about to major in just psychology, to deciding that you're ready to start baking, to COVID, to the community supporting you and growing your bakery. Oh my goodness, how does all of this feel?
I mean, honestly, it is surreal. Even 5 years into it, it's still really hard to believe that everything happened like it has. It has just been a lot of blessings on top of blessings. So it's definitely always a work in progress. We're always learning as we go. Every day there's a new challenge to face. So it's fun, challenging, sometimes very exhausting, but definitely worth it.
Oh, yes. You said a key word right there, which is really the work in progress, right? So I would love for you to share with our audience. Tell us a little bit about your progress. Like, how did you really go from like psychology to pastries?
So my freshman year of college, I was baking just decorated sugar cookies just for fun. I love baking, I always have, and I'm an artist, so it just translated really well. I would just for holidays make Halloween and Christmas and whatever cookies just to share with my friends, that kind of thing. And my mom being supportive, we love a supportive mom,
Yes, we
would
do.
post on Facebook and people were like, oh my gosh, those are so cute. How can we buy them? Are they for sale? What is the deal? So I started selling cookies when I was 18 and it picked up from there where I started moving into more of like cakes and cupcakes and all that kind of thing, really building like a client list. During this process, I was a full-time college student, 2.5 hours from home. So I would come home like 2 to 3 weekends a month to do orders and just make some side money and just express my creativity and have fun in the kitchen. It was probably, let's say it was my third semester of college, like maybe fourth. I don't know. I was a sophomore, but a semester ahead, so a junior technically. And I was taking this career paths of psychology class, and we had to do three different Odyssey plans and like look at three different paths that we might want to take after we graduated and plan out 5 years for that. And I looked into industrial organizational psychology and clinical psychology, and then I looked at owning a bakery. And I thought my parents were going to kill me whenever I was telling them about this. I was like, hey, mom, I'm all upset, sobbing. I mean, just waterworks everywhere. I'm like, she thought the worst thing. She was like, something has happened. You've been attacked. You've hit someone with your car. Like, I mean, just the worst case scenario, how a mom would react to something when their child is upset. So that really helped me kind of accept that this is what I thought I wanted to do with my life. We talked about it a lot between my parents and me, and a lot of me praying about it just because I felt like that it was not something that I could decide for myself.
Yeah.
Um, so, after a lot of consideration and a lot of prayer, and also speaking to my academic advisor, we decided since I'm already halfway through school, finished the psychology degree, I was already taking some art classes because I enjoyed it. And then I added on a business administration minor just so I would have a little bit of background knowledge about what I might be stepping into. Um, Definitely had no idea what I was doing at all, not a clue. Um, but when I graduated in December of 2019, I was 21. So I graduated early, moved home, started my business plan, and I used all of these awesome resources. A family friend of ours actually told me about Score Savannah,
Hmm.
which I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or not.
Yes.
Yes, they were phenomenal.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, Score is just a group of retired business professionals who help entrepreneur or want to be entrepreneurs, help get their businesses set up. And they were amazing. They helped me do my entire business plan. And honestly, I would have been so lost without them. I would have not known where to look for anything.
Yeah.
And they really just helped me get that part set up where I could go to the bank and be like, hey, I need money for this.
Yeah.
And they're like, why am I giving a 21-year-old tens of thousands of dollars? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, that young entrepreneur mindset, like you were saying, like thinking the worst case scenario, thinking like, will somebody even support me? Like I'm 21.
Yes.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, so once we got everything worked out with that, we started looking at buildings and we actually put in an offer on a building in Springfield, which is a few minutes from where we are. Um, Offer had been accepted and then COVID hit.
Mm.
We're like, oof, that's intimidating. We might not need to buy a building right now. This might be too big of an investment. So we held off for a little bit. We held off for like 6 months. And then I want to believe it was late July, early August. My aunt called me and she was like, Allie, our neighbor, she works at the beauty salon next door to us, is moving out. They're shut down. They are moving everything out. She's like, I'm texting you the number to the business owner, or like to the building owner right now so you can call her. And the absolute like wild thing was this is the building that I have always wanted to be in since I thought about owning a bakery because it has so much charm. And I was like, I want that hometown feel. I want people to come in and just have a sense of comfort and just be a Hallmark movie, basically.
Oh yeah, we love Hallmark movies now.
Hallmark. I love Hallmark. Um, but I mean, it was still terrifying with COVID. We didn't know what was going to happen. We're all in masks. We're trying to stay as far away from each other as possible. But this is only a 1,900 square foot building, and kitchen is only like 400 square feet. So you can
You only can
imagine.
put so many 6 feet in that.
Yeah, that was wild. But I mean, with food handling, you have to be really like precautious about hands being washed and everything, anyways.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of safety training that's already ingrained into the food business. It was just making sure that our customers had peace of mind as well,
Yeah.
that they weren't coming in somewhere and they weren't going to be completely unprotected.
Yeah.
So when we opened up in November, obviously COVID was still this massive ordeal, and people were coming in mask on. Of course, you know how hard it is to communicate with someone when you can't see their mouth. You're like, I'm
Can I
sorry.
get the cookies and the cupcakes over there, please?
You're like, I'm so sorry, ma'am. What did you say? You want which cookie? But it was a very long, very hard process, but it was definitely worth it. The community came in droves. I mean, the line was out of the door for months. The first, I want to say, week and a half that we were open, we prepped for probably quadruple of what we thought we would sell, and we were still selling out by like 10 o'clock in the morning and having to just like go in the kitchen and bake as much as we could. It was insane.
Wow. Now I'm curious because you got me with some questions over here.
Yeah, well, ask. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Wow. So let's backtrack because I'm curious. I know you said that like you were an artist, but when you were in college, did you really consider yourself like an artist over a psychologist? Because see, I know with a lot of women who are in school but have this other desire, their minds go through this imposter syndrome situation that says, well, I do like art, but I like art in this lane. So do I really see myself as an artist in the bakery field? Like, did you know within your heart that that level of artistry could truly translate to baking, or did you see your artistry in a different realm?
Well, when I started college, I actually was going to school to do art therapy. So I knew I wanted to do something with art, but then I got into like more of the major classes with psychology, and they don't offer art therapy as an undergraduate program. It's only a master's and upper levels.
Right.
So I really fell in love with the psychology part, but like art was always in my background. I grew up painting, drawing, sculpting, everything under the sun. I think I took like 9 art classes in high school, and 2 of them were AP. So I definitely had that background. Like
Mm.
my mom very much so just fed, like I said, I've always loved being in the kitchen, but she really fed into me like expressing myself with that. Like I made my 16th birthday cake and my high school graduation cake. So it's not like I'd never done anything related to this before. It was just not so much to the scale of what I do now.
And then that makes me think, then what caused like the slight imposter syndrome when your mom started promoting you on Facebook when you were baking and making those amazing cookies? What were making you feel like, what? They were my cookies? How? Like, what made you
Honestly,
feel that
the
way?
imposter syndrome is a lot worse now than it was back then. I feel like the more successful I get, the more I'm like, um, should people really be paying me for this? Like, are we sure this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Are you sure?
But that's what happens, right? Because now it's like you versus you.
Yeah,
And that's what happens in entrepreneurship, especially as women, because we you know how like we love to see other people so great. I know you might look in like those wedding magazines and you see those beautiful cakes and you're like, wow, that's amazing. I can do that. And then somebody books you to do that, and then you recognize what you have to charge them. It makes you sweat a little bit because you're like, well,
yes.
I know that they could charge for that, but can I charge for that? Like, is that really worthy of me? Can you talk to the audience a little bit about how you had to overcome like the worthiness within yourself and go against the odds that's within you?
Honestly, it's an everyday battle. Like, I have to give myself a pep talk several times a week, especially when I'm doing super high dollar cakes. Like, I do a lot of hyper realistic, like sculpted cakes. And with those, they take me anywhere from 12 to 27 hours for one cake. So obviously, when I'm spending that much time on a cake, I am charging a ton of money for it.
Yeah.
And people are like, but it's cake. And I'm like, yes, but it took me 22 hours to do this cake.
Yeah.
It's like it's literally a piece of art that you are about to cut up and eat.
Yeah.
All you're getting is a photo from it and some memories, which is hard. Like it's very hard. And a lot of times when I do cakes like that, it hurts my heart. They're like, "Oh, do you like if I'm at a wedding and one of the cakes is like a groom's cake and it's crazy, it took me forever. They're like, "Oh, do you want to cut it?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have the heart to cut it.
Right.
I can't do that. What are you want to chop that dog's head off? No."
I can believe that. So then it makes me think like what is the emotional attachment to your art? Like what does that look like on an everyday basis?
It depends piece by piece. I feel like there's a different level of connection to different styles of cakes. If I'm
Mhm.
doing the same style of cake 4 or 5 times a week, like it's not really I'm not as emotionally invested into it as I am if I'm spending more than six hours on something. You know
I
what
can
I'm
feel that.
saying? If it's kind of a run of the mill thing, I'm like, oh, here's your birthday cake. I hope you enjoy it. When you get into those super just crazy time eating projects though, there's a lot more of an emotional connection to it because you feel the emotions as you're going through the process as well. And you're like, oh my gosh, I realized that I can do this. I taught myself a new technique. Like I learned something from this and it's about to be eaten in 10 minutes. So
Especially when the cake is good. I mean,
yeah.
they're gonna tear it up when you really think about it. Like you said, the doggy head ripped off, eating it up. But
Yes.
that's good. Can you tell the audience what are some of the emotions that you do have to overcome when you do get that next level challenge, when that customer asks for something that you haven't done before? What are some of the emotions that you face in the moment, in those 24 hours that it takes to do the cake?
Well, I'm gonna be really transparent here. I struggle with anxiety. Like I have pretty bad anxiety. I was able to control it for the early part of my life through exercise and just eating healthy and things like that. But when I started the business, I was working 90 plus hours a week. So spending 30 hours in the gym wasn't really an option for me. So I got on anxiety medicine. Um, well, it stopped working about a year ago. I was maxed out on the dose and it still wasn't doing anything. So, a lot of times in situations where I'm trying to figure out, okay, is this even something that I think I can make? I'm just over here like internal struggle going on, just absolute fear that I am about to be like, hey, this cake is going to cost you 2 grand. I don't even know if I can actually make it or not. It's just me figuring it out as I go.
Yeah.
So it's just a constant state of like anxiousness for the most part. But then whenever you get done with it, you just feel the sense of like pride that you're like, hey, I made that.
Yes.
That.
Have you ever had a scenario where like you baked the most beautiful cake and it accidentally fell or it tipped over in the car or like the air conditioner wasn't on and so the cake is melting? I let me tell you, Allie, I have a secret, okay? I'm like secretly obsessed with like those cupcake wars and those cake war shows. So if you ever host like a community cupcake war decoration contest, I'm in there, okay? Because what?
We actually do a decorating class occasionally, a couple of times a year for like decorating cakes. So I'll definitely have to let you know when we put the next one out.
Yes.
Um, so I have dropped a cake. I've dropped several cakes actually. Um, the worst one was about a year ago when Hurricane Helene, was that the name of it, came through.
Yep.
Um, we had two four-tiered weddings and like 7 other cake orders going out that Saturday, Friday and Saturday. We had no power, none, no power. So thankfully, I had baked the cakes the night before the hurricane came through. I was like, like we're gonna do everything we can to make sure that everything happens. Like these people are getting married. Like if they don't end up getting married, that's fine, cool. But if they are still having the weddings, like I've got to have the cake ready. I've got to do everything in my power to get this done. So bless my dad's heart. Bless my dad's heart. That man owns, I think, 7 generators. It's insane. He came down here and hooked generators up for me to be able to make icing and run our walk-in cooler. And I'm in here with like a headlamp on, decorating cakes, and it's 90 degrees. Well, you know what happens when the AC is not running? It gets really humid.
And the floor gets
The
slippery.
floor was so slippery. I had just finished a cake. I dropped it upside down on the floor. Yeah.
Was it one of the four tiers?
No, thankfully it was just a single tiered cake, but like, how am I supposed to bake another one when I don't have power? Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
So what did you have to do?
Um, thankfully, my grandma has it where you can hook the tractor up to run her house. Somehow, I don't really know how it works. My dad's an electrician, not me. I
Okay.
sign up for that. But they have it where they can like hook the PTO shaft up and like power her whole house off of the tractor. So my mom had to go over there and bake this cake off of the tractor electricity for me to come and decorate it
All during the hurricane.
all during the hurricane. All
Talk
during the hurricane.
about anxiety.
I'm pretty sure I have PTSD from it. It was like I think 2 weeks ago when the 1 year mark rolled around, and I was like, Lord,
I
please
remember this
don't do
day.
that to me again. I'm not sure I can handle it. I don't think I can take it.
Wow. So let me ask you this. As a business owner, of course, I know you have other people every now and then, like you say, your mom that may bake for you. Do
Yes.
you ever have the feeling of like, because I remember when we mentioned in our pre-conversation that you learned some of your baking skills from your mom and your grandma. So do you ever have the feeling of when the customer says, like, I want this cake of, no, mom, I'm gonna do it because I think I can do it better? Or like do you have that feeling of like, well, since mom taught me, I know she can do it as great as I can? Or like, how do you manage sometimes of, or maybe there's a project that you want to do but can't do, so then maybe you have to pass the responsibility. How do you handle that?
So actually, for the past, I think about a year and a half, I have been the head baker. So I come in and I do all of the breakfast, I do all of the breads, and I bake all of the cakes and cupcakes. Every now and then, I do have a girl who is part-time who's been with me for on and off found like her schedule with them and her schedule with her husband. But she also is a fantastic baker. So sometimes she helps me out with baking cakes. But the majority of the time, every cake that comes out of here is made by me personally.
Oh,
I
wow.
do have some other decorators that help me. I have two part-time cake decorators, and then I have a cookie decorator that's full-time. So I have definitely had to learn to loosen the reins just a little bit. There are some cakes that like I am the only one who touches. 90% of the time, no one else touches the wedding cake but me,
Mhm.
just because at the end of the day, it is my name on it. And if something goes wrong, like I need to be the one who is responsible and not have even like freak accidents happen. We
Yeah.
all know this. But I don't want anyone that works for me to be like, oh my God, this is my fault.
Yeah.
And it's something that big of a deal because wedding cakes are high dollar.
Mm,
Everyone knows that wedding cakes are expensive,
yeah.
and I don't want to put that pressure on anyone yet. I haven't gotten to that point in this process.
Yeah, I can feel that.
But like birthday cakes, some shower cakes, other smaller things like that, like I have a team that helps me. There's no way humanly possible that I could do every order that we have. And that has been a very tough thing for me to chew on.
But I bet at the same time it's like a blessing because I know there are some women there that listen to this podcast and they're like, oh my goodness, I wish I had that level of success. I wish I had the courage to charge $2,000 plus for a cake, right? Or I
Yeah.
wish they had it to the point where like the business was flowing in. So what advice could you give someone who's just starting out baking and they're not seeing as much customer traction or appeal? What do you think that they could do to help themselves like market themselves better and get the word out?
Honestly, it really is about experience. I charge a lot more now than I used to. When I started out, my cakes were dirt cheap. So were my cookies. I was not charging by the hour. I probably was not even charging the cost, honestly. I was just doing it because it was fun. Um, you definitely have to know your clients, especially because there are certain areas where you cannot charge the same amount as that you can in Savannah. I mean, we're in Effingham, it's a smaller bedroom community. So I can't charge the same amount as, let's say, my competitor in Savannah can just because of the area that my business is located in. It just really depends on that. But also, like, you have to know your worth.
Yeah.
If someone's like, hey, I'm not paying $200 for a birthday cake, but they want this thing that's going to take you 4 hours to do.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, this is how much it's going to cost based off of my time, my materials, and my knowledge. If you can't afford that, then let's look at some other options that you might be able to or that you are willing to spend on.
Yeah.
Not you don't have to have a multi-hundred-dollar cake for every single one of your children's birthdays. Like it's not necessary. Like if you would rather spend money on the experience than a just show-stopping cake, then it's just about who it is. You have to really look at your client base for that.
Mhm. Yes, can we dive in a little bit more on the worth, right? Because it was even the same thing with me when I first started out being a confidence coach. I just was like you said, just being dirt cheap, just feeling like, okay, well, I'm just gonna help anybody, and and then when I got to the space where I'm realizing, like, Breye'l, your value is so powerful because what you're helping with. Someone can't go buy confidence off the shelf at Walmart in Rincon, right? And so when I realized, like, okay, I gotta put the comma and a couple of zeros behind what's happening, it took for me to see within myself that the dollar is not really attached to me as an individual, it's attached to the value that I'm bringing the person. And so, can you help some of the listeners kind of overcome again, like that struggle that happens between, well, I want people to still shop with me, but I know I need to charge XYZ. How can you help them see their worth more?
Um,
You drink your milk
That's a
seed.
really, really hard question, honestly, because I feel like everyone struggles with that, myself included. I know that like I will price things a lot lower sometimes than I really should just because I don't have the confidence that I should in myself for it. Um, but it's like I said, every day is a learning experience for
Oh
me.
yeah.
The more that I do orders and talking to customers and just get just deeper into this whole process, I really have to like think about this is going to probably sound bad, but you have to really appeal to the clients that you want.
Yes.
Not everyone is going to be able to afford you.
Yes.
This we call Ally's a boutique bakery. So people that come here are willing and expect to spend a little bit more money than they would if they went to Kroger, Publix, Walmart, that kind of thing. But also, it's about the quality of ingredients and work that you put into it too. So we make everything from scratch here. So regardless off the bat, you're going to expect things to cost more just because we're using real butter, real sugar, real eggs, all of those ingredients that cost more money too, and then you're getting a quality baked good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I I don't know if I answered that question. It takes a lot to figure it out. And I mean, you really do figure it out as you go, and I'm still figuring it out. And there are a lot of programs that you can also look into that help with breaking down like your cost of goods and making sure that you're charging enough and that kind of thing. But you also have to look into the amount of time that's spent on it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think you really did answer that question. I love how you've mentioned a few times within our conversation of figuring it out as you go. That's what I help my clients see as well, that clarity is in the doing, right? Like what a woman can say, like, I want to be confident, or kind of like how we're talking, you can say, I want to be confident enough to charge higher prices every time. Well, the only way you'll do that is if you keep going, and then when the person gets on the phone, they ask you how much, and then you tell them the price. But not taking action in or just continuously doing the same thing of not raising the price, it doesn't do anything but hurt our value and our work individually, because then when we go home at night and then when it's time to fulfill the order, we're in regret because you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to take me this amount of time. I really would have loved to gotten paid $800, but for some reason I chickened out and I told her 475.
oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
it only can last for so long. So again, I totally get that as well. And I want to emphasize too that it's great that you see yourself as a boutique bakery, because that's what you are. A lot of people who go to just these big chain places and get baked goods from like Kroger's and things like that, if they actually look at the ingredient list, though you're paying $4 for 24 pack of cookies, you don't know what sodium doxide, troxide, meloxide is. You don't know what BHT and all of those different chemicals are. So sometimes it's a shift in a mindset shift, but you should very much so feel better about getting a cupcake for $8 that has seven, eight simple ingredients than again being able to feel like you got quantity over quality.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Can you share with the audience as we wrap up, what are some of your fan favorite baked goods?
Oh, um, hmm. I what do you want to know what I like to eat or what
Of
I like?
course, I want to know that one first, and then I want to know what the customers love.
So my favorite thing to eat here is definitely the chocolate chip cookie dough. And I know that's not on the menu. I know it's not on the menu, but I have always loved the cookie dough better than the actual cookie. I'm just gonna be honest. It's my favorite thing.
You're gonna
Usually,
have to start. You're gonna have to give us like a Christmas special of the cookie dough.
I thought about it. I thought about looking into because I mean, technically, you're not supposed to eat raw dough because it has raw eggs blah, blah, blah. I've been eating raw cookie dough for 27 years and not once have I gotten salmonella.
And
Like,
people who are like health fit, they like take the eggs and drink the
yeah,
yolk.
you just drink them raw. I'm like, what's the difference?
Right.
Throw in some sugar in there.
Ooh, at least this one tastes better.
So that is my favorite thing to eat. But I love making and eating bread. Like that is, I'm a bread girl.
Ooh.
So anytime I make a new bread and I'm like, oh, this sounds really good, like automatically one of those loaves are coming home with me. Like it's not going on the shelf.
I can feel that. I'm a cinnamon roll type of girl. I love cinnamon rolls. Like super obsessed with cinnamon. Come on,
You
come on.
tried our cinnamon rolls?
No, not yet.
You need to, girl. You need to.
Ooh,
I love them too, but I have a mild cinnamon allergy, so I only eat like four a year.
what? How did you know that you had a cinnamon allergy and when did that come about?
Um, it was definitely after we opened. My mom made cinnamon rolls when we were growing up, but I noticed every time I ate something with like a very concentrated amount of cinnamon in it, my throat would get really like raw feeling, almost like if you eat too much pineapple.
Yeah.
That's what happens to me if I eat a whole cinnamon roll or like a cinnamon toast, just anything that's super concentrated. If it's just like a pinch of cinnamon in it, it's fine. But just like a lot of cinnamon for some reason, just not so good.
Oh my goodness. I'm a sucker too for things that's like cinnamon toast. My favorite cereal used to be cinnamon toast crunch. So anytime I go to a bakery and they have anything cinnamon toast, I'm like, give me that one. I want that one. I love that. So, what are some of the fan favorites? Like, what are some of the things that your customers love the most when they come in, especially during fall season right now?
Well, cinnamon rolls are always a really big hit. I mean, who doesn't love just a gooey, just absolutely like melt in your mouth cinnamon roll? And even though I'm mildly allergic to cinnamon, I still love them. If that tells you anything, like they're just that good. Also, so we make a lot of savory foods too. We don't just do sweets. Like we have an entire case that's dedicated to savory foods, and our breakfast items are really big sellers. So we do like personal quiches and like sausage rolls. We do scones. One of our like biggest sellers is our stuffed focaccia, and
Oh,
this is actually something that I kind of came up with just because I was working too many hours and I wasn't able to leave to go get lunch. So I was like, I need to figure out what I can make here. And then I was like, hey, this is really good. We should sell these.
yeah.
But it's homemade focaccia bread, and then we like roll it out and we put different items in them. So it's basically like a homemade hot pocket, but it's so much better. And they're bigger, so they actually like fill you up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How do you find the balance between making items that you found like just for fun? Maybe you saw some items on TikTok or something. And how do you find the balance between making them and then deciding to like put them on the menu or offer them as specialty items?
Honestly, a lot of our specialty items, it's just me in the kitchen being like, hey, this looks like it'll be fun to make. Let's see what happens. And then if it turns out good, I will let like whoever's working on the shift try it and be like, do you think that people would like this? And then we'll put it out. And it might not be something that we have every day, but it might just be an item that I make whenever I have some spare time and I can put time into it. And then like we do a lot of different like flavors depending on the season too.
Mhm.
So with fall right now, I've just been, for some reason, my flavor ideas have not been very, it's been very confined to cupcake flavors for some reason the past month.
Hmm.
So pretty much every week I'm like throwing out one or two new cupcake flavors just because it's just what is popping into my brain. And it's kind of how it goes. Like sometimes I'll be in this mood where I come up with a lot of new savory items or be like, hey, I've never made this before, but I saw someone post these and they looked really good. I've never even eaten one of these before, but I think I'm going to try to make them.
Yeah.
And just playing in the kitchen. Honestly, that's the really fun part of my job is when I get to just like be in there and experiment.
Yeah.
It just it makes me feel like a kid again.
Yes.
And I did a lot of like experimental baking and cooking when I was in college just for comfort. Like it was my stress relief. So it's still a good habit for me to kind of de-stress and just get back into the zone and do my thing.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Allie, this was a good chat. Okay, first of all, you have me over here reminiscing about cinnamon rolls. Okay, already knowing like Brielle, we're gonna get some. Okay, not even trying to think like we're not supposed to or any of that, but already knowing cinnamon rolls coming up. Number two, you have inspired me and also inspired the audience. I know for a fact to remember that creativity and artistry comes from within. And even though in the midst of obstacles, even though in the midst of feeling like sometimes that all of the odds are against you, whether it's, like you said, COVID, whether it's needing to take that hard conversation to a family member because you're ready to pivot in life, or whether it's having that beautiful, tremendous cake order that maybe you've never done before, but you have to really put yourself out there to try it. You've really secured the audience and reminded us that it's important that we just continue to push through and to figure it out as we go. And that's exciting.
Absolutely.
Yes. Can you tell the audience where they can find you?
So we are located in Rincon, Georgia. Our address is 202 East 4th Street, Rincon. And those of you who are not familiar with Georgia, Rincon is a small community outside of Savannah. It's about 20 miles outside of Savannah.
Yes, yes, yes. And what's your favorite social media site? Are you Facebook, Instagram?
We are active on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Our TikTok is more of just kind of like a little fun thing. Sometimes I post tutorials of me doing like cakes. Other times it's just me and some of the girls who work for me doing the latest trend that's funny. So
We love that. We love some good entertainment. And this chat was so good today, Allie. I'm super excited that we were able to connect. And I am wishing you so much success inside of your business, happiness, and joy.
thank you so much, Brielle. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, you're welcome, Allie. All righty, Queen. So until next time, you ladies already know what to do. Like and share this video with anybody who you already know can take any of this positive advice from Allie. Share our podcast video because when Allie inspires us, we inspire other people. So until next time, always remember to create and grow your dream business from within. See you later.
Bye.